The Cardinals get embarrassed in Philadelphia over the weekend as they get swept by the Phillies. Is this the most boring and unwatchable team you have ever seen? This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter or X at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. Want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and it's not just the Cardinals. You can find all the other teams in Major League Baseball, NFL, hockey. We've got you covered here at the Locked On Podcast Network. You can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. You can find us on YouTube. If you're going to go there, like, subscribe, comment. That way you're interacting with us. One of my favorite parts about doing this show is the interaction back and forth between all the fans, myself and you and other people. That's the fun stuff right there. So hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted, because this is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. So I hope you had a good weekend. I truly do. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Here we go. There's our stuff. I was in like fantasy football draft hell or heaven, depending on which team you're looking at that I drafted this weekend. But I can tell you one thing. It went a lot better for me than it did for the Cardinals this weekend. Holy smokes, was that not fun? That was awful, man. And I mean, I shouldn't say everything was awful, because it wasn't. There were some positive things that we're going to talk about today about this weekend in Philadelphia, but not a lot of fun if you were rooting for the Cardinals. Not a lot of great things went their way. The Phillies basically had their way with our boys over the weekend, both offensively and on the mound. Now, I did an episode after the game on Friday night talking about the Miles Michaelis start. So if you want a more in-depth discussion on what happened on Friday, go back and check that episode out. That's fine. But let's just move ahead and go into Saturday, which, in all honesty, had one highlight, didn't it? It had one highlight. And that was our guy, Baker, finally picking up his first big league home run, a rope into the left field stands, which actually at the time gave the Cardinals a lead. I know it didn't seem like the Cardinals had a lead at all this weekend, but because they really didn't very often, but they did there, had that 1-0 lead against Zach Wheeler. And, and because the Philly fans are so sweet and are so just generous, they graciously threw that Baker home run back out onto the field. That was really nice of you guys. Was able to collect his first home run ball without any hassles. That was just really nice of you guys. You guys are good people, Philly. I don't care. I don't care what the Mets and the Braves fans say about you. You're okay in my book. Anyway, after the home run, it was downhill, right? Dakota Hudson finally had an off day. It was inevitable. Like, it was going to happen eventually that Dakota Hudson would not be on, because that's just not who he is normally. Been very good since coming back to the team. He just ran into a buzzsaw known as the Phillies offense, and they can not only punish you in so many ways. I mean, that lineup is crazy good, right? It is deep, and they can do some damage to you. They feel like they're really going to be somebody to be reckoned with coming down the stretch towards the playoffs, because they have no realistic shot at the division title with the Braves running away with things. I mean, the Braves are crazy good. What best record in baseball? They're 84-45 right now. That's 12.5 up on Philly in the division. That's unreal. Do that, St. Louis. All right, Mo, DeWitt Jr., whoever's paying attention, take the Braves blueprint and just copy it verbatim, okay? Because what they do over there is win, and that's what the Cardinals need to get back to. But Philly is in the lead of the wild card spots. They're the number 1 seed there, followed by the Cubs and then Arizona. And if their two aces, Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, throw anywhere close to what they look like against the Cardinals this weekend, then I sure as hell wouldn't want to be one of those teams that has to face them come October. But back to the Cardinals, where Dakota Hudson, he saw that 5-game winning streak come to an end. He allowed 5 runs over 5 2/3. Had a lot of command issues, which, it happens sometimes with Hudson. 5 walks. 5 walks. He's been able to avoid that problem when he was, winning these games during the winning streak. But 5 walks, man, you just cannot do that against any team in Major League Baseball, but certainly not against a team with an offense like Philadelphia. I mean, you're just asking for trouble. Then when the bullpen came in, I mean, basically fuel to the fire. In the 7th inning, Andre Palante gave up 3 hits and a run before leaving with 2 runners on base, both of whom score on Nick Castellanos' home run off of Giovanni Gallegos, who later allowed another 3-run home run to Brandon Marsh. It was bad Gio on full display on Saturday, getting crushed for 4 runs on 3 hits. The 2 home runs and only getting 1 hitter out. That's about as bad as it gets for Giovanni Gallegos. We've seen that one too many times this year, and I guess at this point of the season, what are you going to do? I mean, it was just plain ugly. Bryce Harper continues to just be incredible against the Cardinals. 3 for 4, 2 RBIs. 2 of his hits and both RBIs came off of Hudson. He's just a stud. The man is a stud. Do you guys remember? And watching this game, I was thinking about it, and I don't know how it just popped in my head, but do you remember when Bryce Harper got drafted and he was a catcher? Like now he's playing first base and he was an outfielder, but remember he was a catcher when he first got drafted. So I don't know what made me think of that, but I just thought that was funny. It's like a million years ago, it seems. But offensively, the Cardinals, they got bupkis after Baker's home run. They did nothing. Philly starter Zach Wheeler records 10 punchies in 7 innings, including getting Nolan Gorman 3 times, who looks terrible at the plate since coming back from the back injury. Gave up just 3 hits. The bullpen didn't give up any, as the Cardinals just get blasted 12-1 on Saturday. And it's sad that, and I hate it, that we're all starting to become kind of numb to performances like this. Like, that's how far we've fallen. I mean, this team is terrible. They can't win. They can't hit. They can hardly pitch. It's rough. It's rough. And now at this point, and I said this back in June, I go, they can't hurt me anymore. I'm already over it. I'm not going to let you bring me down. I'm still going to enjoy my time. But it just makes it really tough to watch these ball games all the way through. Like, you're just kind of like, ugh, I don't want to see this. And then on Sunday, they face the other ace in the Phillies rotation in Aaron Nola. And I actually got a funny tweet from someone who responded to me. It was when I said something about the game on Saturday. I was like, well, that wasn't fun. Luka Baker got the home run. At least tomorrow we get to see future Cardinal Aaron Nola, or something to that effect. And I obviously I said that tongue in cheek, because I don't know if he's going to come here. But the guy responds, and his name's Richard. He responds, you can have him. He's pretty much cooked. You'll see when your Cards hit 9 home runs in the first inning tomorrow. Well, that didn't exactly happen, did it? In fact, Nola was as dominant as ever in the game on Sunday, slicing and dicing up the Cardinals offense for 7 innings. It started off like you thought maybe we wake up. Tommy Edman, leadoff double. But then that was it. That was it. The Cardinals didn't get a single hit off of Aaron Nola after that. In fact, the only other player to reach base against him was Nolan Gorman on a 1-out walk in the 5th inning. Nola struck out 9 Cardinal hitters. And should his dominance have been such a surprise? Maybe because he's having kind of a down year. But according to the stats that we looked up here, a total of 12 hits and 90 career at-bats, no home runs against the guys who were in the lineup for the Cardinals on Sunday. They haven't had a lot of luck against him. So to see him go out there and just shred him really shouldn't have been much of a surprise. So to the person who said that we can have Nola, Mr. Richard, thank you. We would love to have him over in St. Louis, and I hope the Cardinals make a serious run at the guy. He's somebody who, again, is having kind of a down year for him, but he looked locked in on Sunday, and we would love to see somebody doing that in a Cardinal uniform next season. The Cardinals offense continued to look like they're already in off-season mode, that they've already checked out, managing just 2 hits in the entire game. Goldie doubles off Craig Kimbrell in the 9th inning, and that's when the Cardinals mount the closest thing to any sort of offense at all in this game. That double followed a walk to Alec Burleson, and you thought, maybe we got something going here. Brought up the tying run to the plate. Snuffed out pretty quick. Arenado pops out. Contreras strikes out. Boom. End of the game. They strand both runners. What else is new? Their only other base runner on Sunday in the game was Jordan Walker, who reached on a 1-out walk in the 8th inning. It was the 11th time this year that the Cardinals have been shut out. It's been brutal, man. It's been really bad. And I know there wasn't all negatives in yesterday's game because Drew Rom, all right, Drew Rom, going to talk about him next segment because he looked much better in this second start. But my question for you, and I want you to respond in the comments down below on YouTube. You can hit me up on Twitter as well. Like, is this the most unwatchable and boring Cardinals team you have ever seen? Now, I know we've got listeners who have been around since the 60s and 70s, and I know we had some lean years in the 90s that were pretty rough, but I just do not recall any team being this just like where I don't want to watch anymore. Like that's where I get to by like the fifth inning, or I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing it. Why am I doing this to myself? And if I didn't have to do this podcast, I probably wouldn't do it to myself. But the energy and the enthusiasm that I thought was going to get injected into this lineup because of the younger guys coming up, with Walker and with Mason, when it just hasn't happened. Like nothing is helping. Like everybody just kind of looks like they're going through the motions. And granted, Nola and Wheeler, two of the top pitchers in the league, so struggling against them is not shocking, but just what a terrible weekend. Rob Raines pointed out at STL Sports page that the Cardinals got outscored 22-3. We're a combined 10 for 91. That's a 110 batting average. They struck out 34 times, retired in order in 18 of their 27 innings, and had a combined 5 hits over the final 24 innings of the series. Like they barely show signs of even having a pulse out there on the field this weekend. It was bad. And we still got a whole month left of this. And I put that tweet out there too with the lady from that 70 show pouring tequila into her margaritas. We still got a month to go of this. And I don't know how they're going to snap these guys out of this. I mean, how do you motivate a team that since the trade deadline has given up? I mean, losing and then losing without even putting up a fight is two different things to me. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not even seeing a fight anymore. And they just look disinterested. They look lost. And now I'm wondering if having the youth, these guys that are supposed to be your future stars around what's going on this major league team, if it's a good idea anymore. Because I don't want them thinking like this. I don't want them with a loser mentality, which is what it feels like this team is going in each and every day, that they just go in knowing that they're going to get pounded on. I don't know if I want them around that. I want them around what I saw in Springfield on Sunday, because that was cool. That was fun baseball. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I want to talk about something positive. I don't want this to all be negative, because we got to do our best to find the good stuff as well. So that was Drew Rom yesterday. He did very, very well. I want to talk about him next on Locked On Cardinals. At one time or another, we all need a little bit of financial help, okay? We've all been there. When I first started my broadcasting career, I was dead broke. I was making, it was like $15,000 a year. I was living in like a $300 studio apartment. Like, it was bad. And in situations like that, because we all go through them, that's why Dave is great. Dave can get you cash when you need a hand between paychecks, and can help you build credit by settling extra cash advances on time. So Dave is the banking app, in case you're not familiar, that is leveling the financial playing field. When you download Dave, you get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. It's part of Dave's extra cash account. Advance the money that you need, get it with no interest, and then you can just settle up later. Okay, be responsible for it, but it can help you out. Extra cash, excuse me, gives you more money to buy things like groceries. That's always a big deal. You got to eat. To fill your car up, get your tank of gas, finally get your car repaired if there's problems there, catch up on your bills, tons of stuff they can help you with without having to wait for your next paycheck. You can build credit when you settle up on time. Excuse me. So millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app to make their finances easier, and you can too. So if you're in a pinch, get the help you need by downloading Dave. Download Dave today at dave.com/MLB. That's dave.com/MLB. Get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. Download the Dave app now, or you can go to dave.com/MLB. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Eligibility criteria and instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC. The Cardinals are back home against the Padres, and you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. Want to thank you guys for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. You can leave comments, as I mentioned before, on YouTube. You can tweet me anytime you want. Feedback, always welcome and encouraged. Going to take a drink of water here real quick. I have a little frog in my throat there. Not great broadcasting when that happens. All right. Let's talk about Drew Rom, shall we? Drew Rom was a bright spot on Sunday. Remember, he got him from the Baltimore Orioles, part of that Jack Flaherty trade. Very tough first Major League Baseball start. Like, remember, not against the Pirates, it was bad. 8 runs, 6 of them earned on 8 hits, 1 home run. He walked 4, struck out 4 over 3 2/3. Not a great beginning to your Major League career, but what I loved about it was how he reacted to things after the game, where he was saying all the right things. He didn't look flustered. He didn't look like he was angry. He was like, look, I kind of got a little bit amped up out there today, and it kind of threw off my mechanics. And, he seemed like he knew what the adjustments he needed to make were so that the next time he was on the mound, things would go a lot better. And that's exactly what he did. Now, first hitter of the game, whoa, we were like, oh my gosh, here we go. Kyle Schwarber, holy cow, smokes that first pitch of the game, 436 feet into the shrubbery in center field at Philadelphia. Just a bomb. And I think we all did the same thing. We're like, oh boy, here we go again. Then Turner singles. You get the error in center field on Palacios. He gets moved over to third on the ground out. Harper walks, and you're like, oh, boy, here we go. We're in big trouble here. This is going to get bad. And then Drew Rom settles in. Back-to-back strikeouts. He's out of it. Things could have really gotten out of hand quickly there, but he didn't waver. He bared down and pitched his way out of it. He did a heck of a job there of not giving in and not letting the moment get the best of him. You got to love that in a young pitcher. And after that, Rom was pretty darn good. 5 1/3, 2 runs, 5 hits. The lone walk to Bryce Harper, you'll take that. 6 strikeouts against the Phillies, too. Like, this isn't some scrub team. No offense to guys like Pittsburgh who knocked him around, but, those lesser hitting teams with lesser offenses, if he does it against them, you're like, okay, but it was, Oakland, or okay, but it was, this was the Phillies, man. And hell yeah, dude, we'll take that. Still got saddled with the loss, but that's all right. Kept his team in it. Did his job. He was competitive with his pitches. He got the Phillies to swing and miss on 31% of their swings. Was 2 outs away from a quality start. He struck out some of the best hitters in baseball: Schwarber, Harper, Real Muto. So I, for one, am very much encouraged by that outing. And if you're somebody who doesn't think that was something positive, then I don't know what to tell you. Then you're just doomed to be sad and lonely, a lonely, lonely person in this world, because that was good pitching, and it was a bright spot, and otherwise a very ugly weekend in Philadelphia. After the game, Rom spoke about his outing to Lynn Worthy over at STLtoday.com, saying, I was just out there, just throw it. Try not to place everything, and try not to be super perfect and super fine. I think it was really just letting myself calm down, letting the body work, and just getting on the mound and letting the front foot hit. Then after that, everything goes. That's just kind of where I was with my mechanics today. It was a lot more comfortable and a lot more smooth out there for me today. And it sure was. He looked good, man. Rom credited conversations that he had with his former Orioles teammates, some teammates over there in Baltimore, for helping him relax and breathe on the mound after his first start got out of hand. A little odd that no Cardinals coaches helped him. What? Where are you guys at? But he did, at least he didn't point him out in that particular quote. Okay. Maybe he brought him up at something and I haven't seen it, but he did bring up Adam Wainwright, though. He said Adam was a huge help with getting settled and helping him understand what he needed to do to be prepared for his outing. So that was cool of him to mention that. And it's good to hear that despite all the problems Adam Wainwright's having this year, he's there for these young guys. And I certainly hope when Wainwright retires that he sticks around and can be at least a consultant or something before he ends up probably in a broadcast booth at some point, because everybody loves the guy. But Rom was throwing his slider more on Sunday compared to the first outing, and that seemed to work well. So something I'm sure will continue. Ollie said this about his performance: our hope was that he would settle in a little bit. It's always tough, your debut. You've got a lot going on. So to get that under his belt and come out today, I think that is closer to what we'll see moving forward. And I hope so. I hope so, because I was certainly impressed by how Drew Rom looked on the road. Tough environment against a great Phillies lineup. I was impressed. Let me know your thoughts on Rom's performance on Sunday down below in the comments or on Twitter. We're going to wrap things up next with a preview of the Padres series and a wild comeback by the AA Springfield team. If you didn't hear about it, I'll share that story with you next on Locked On Cardinals. Want the chance to win more money with less picks? Hi, hello. Yeah, that's me. Swing for the fences on Sleeper Picks, and you can win up to 100 times your money. Go to Sleeper, the #1 sports app, where you can win up to 100 times your money on just 2 or more fantasy baseball picks. Now, on Sleeper, you can swing for the fences with up to 100 times payouts. All you've got to do, this is the idea here, you choose 2 or more players. Now, if you're on YouTube, I'm going to throw up a couple of photos of what the app looks like when you're kind of browsing through it there. But you're going to go and you're going to pick, 2 or more players that you like and select whichever categories that you like as well, whether it's a power hitter, maybe it's a pitcher. You think they're going to have a lot of strikeouts, hits, stolen bases, all of the above, man. Get your picks right, and then you can win big. And that's the idea here, is to make a little moolah. The Cardinals face the Padres, and their offense has been awful in Philly, so maybe a good time to bet on some Padres players. Maybe, the pitchers like tonight, Blake Snell, probably going to strike out a lot of Cardinals tonight. That's just the way it is. I mean, might as well make money while they're scuffling, right? So follow your gut, try to win big, and have some fun doing it. That's the idea. Dynamic payouts are live. Dynamic payouts allow more stack categories to place contests on, which is great. Higher payouts than other apps with less picks. So swing for the fences on the Sleeper app and on your Sleeper picks. You could win up to 100 times your money. Use promo code Locked On. You'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms for use for details. Currently operational in over 30 states. Check out Sleeper today. Cardinals are back at Busch to battle the Padres tonight, and you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. The Padres are another one of the disappointing teams. Like when you talk about teams that you're like, I can't believe they're not good. You hear about the Cardinals, obviously. The Mets are a huge one. The Yankees have been a big one. And the Padres, another one of those disappointing teams, considering the names that they have on their roster, the talent, the amount of money they've spent. Their payroll is monstrous. As a baseball fan, and I know that we haven't had great baseball to watch, but if you wanted to go down to the ballpark over the next couple of days, you're going to see guys like Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado and company. To see these guys play, that's pretty cool. So if I was you, I'd head on down to the ballpark. Plenty of seats available, if you've noticed, at any Cardinal home games in the last week or two. It's pretty empty. And so you can get up close and personal with some of these guys. Soto, Tatis Jr., Machado, as I mentioned. Matt Carpenter is still with them. Michael Wacha is on that team, although he's not scheduled to pitch against the Cardinals. Ha-Seong Kim has been a stud on my fantasy team for sure. He's somebody you can watch. Xander Bogaerts is a good one. You got Josh Hader, Yu Darvish. I mean, you got some good talent there. It's shocking that they're 61-70. People are scratching their heads. They're like, I don't know how they're this bad. Tonight, you'll have Adam Wainwright going for a win 199 again against possible future Cardinal Blake Snell. All right. Maybe if we get a lot of fans out there to show them how cool we are, maybe Blake Snell will be more apt to join the Cardinals in free agency this offseason. Been one of the top pitchers in the league this year. So that's going to be tonight's matchup. Zach Thompson will go against Seth Lugo on Tuesday. And then you got Miles Michaelis and Yu Darvish on Wednesday. Before we finish up here, quick shout out to the Springfield Cardinals. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday, but wow. Their game against the Corpus Christi Hooks, trailing 14-6 in the 9th inning. Game's over, right? Not so fast, my friend. Rallied to win in the 9th inning, 15-14. 8 of those 9 runs coming with 2 outs. Unbelievable fight. Grit to come back like that, something that this parent club is sorely lacking. I just, watching the minor league games are wonderful to watch. If you don't watch Springfield or Memphis at all, they've been having a lot of fun playing baseball this summer. Not so much up in the major leagues, but in yesterday's game, Errol Robinson went 3 for 6, had the walk-off base hit in the bottom of the ninth. Our buddy Mike Antico, friend of the show, swiped his 45th base of the season. He's one steal away from tying the single season record of 46 stolen bases, holds the all-time career stolen base record already with Springfield with 75. Our buddy, friend of the show, Victor Scott II, goes 3 for 5 with a double and 2 runs scored. He's now hitting .332 and added his 31st stolen base since joining Springfield. Total on the season right now, because he's played 2 levels, he's at 81. 81 stolen bases on the year. Guy's a beast. And then you got the new guy, Thomas Sajaci, went 3 for 4 with a walk and a run. He's been a beast since coming over in the trade with the Rangers for Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton. Since coming over, hitting .363 with 9 home runs and 21 RBIs. That's over 28 days here just in the month of August. Unreal. And on the season, his numbers are sick as well. .323, 24 home runs, 99 RBIs. The guy can flat out hit. That he can do. So some happy thoughts before we sign off for the day. So thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Be sure to catch every pitch of the Cardinals hometown broadcast for the series with the Padres with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Cardinals. If you haven't already, do me a solid, man. Give us a follow on Twitter. LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Would love for you guys to keep subscribing and liking on YouTube. If you haven't done that yet, would appreciate that. Every single like is huge. It helps our channel grow. We get more Cardinal fans involved, and we can all be miserable together here in 2023. But in all seriousness, you're the best fans in baseball for a reason. And I'll be back here with you guys tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Cardinals. Have a great Monday.